KB, you made yourself the villain, right? You let that man get you so far off your square. You let that man get you so far out of your body that you called him out his name. You made yourself the villain. There were still people on your side, but you didn't have to call that man out your name. Come here. Come here. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are gathered here today for Love is Blind Denver, Season 9, Episode 11. Don't go breaking my heart. A lot of heartbroken people in Denver. A lot of them are heartbroken, all right? And we're going to talk about them all in just a moment. Before we get started, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, y'all. We are on the road to 50,000 subs by the end of the year. I am less than 400 subs away, almost 300 really, from 46,000. So if you are here from the video that came out last night or from last week or whatever, I know you aren't subscribed. I know you aren't. Hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, hype the video. For those of you, people are asking how to hype, right? YouTube gives us 3 hypes per week. If you are in the comment section, you see there's the 3 little dots that are on the top where it says comments. It only works on the YouTube app, not your actual computer, not your TV. Scroll over until you get to the hype session. Go ahead and hype your girl, okay? Go ahead and give me a hype and then leave your comments down below. I am enjoying this season. I don't know why other people aren't. Y'all saying the season is boring? Nah, it's not. It's not. So we start off with Madison and Joe. Madison is on the phone crying, okay? Apparently, Joe texted her and told her that she wasn't his person. Remember, Joe walked out because he couldn't tie a tie and he was just frazzled. So Joe walked out at the tux fitting. Joe told Madison that if they get to the altar, it's gonna be a no. I said, we know. We know. You don't have to tell us. You shouldn't have to tell her. Madison, this man does not like you. He told us. Madison, I don't know if you know, baby, but he told us that you have a large physique, as if he's not a big body Benz himself. Almost. And he told us that he don't typically go for girls like you. But at the root of it, I think that Joe is scared of Madison's eye condition and having to take care of her. I think that deep down, Joe might feel, and this might even make Joe a good guy, I don't know. But I think deep down, Joe feels that if I get into this relationship with this woman and I decide in 5 or 6 years, I don't really want to be with her anymore, I think Joe will feel bad because she has this eye condition. And what, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where his head is going. And I think that's a part of the reason why Joe doesn't want to marry her. But let's see what he has to say. So Joe comes over and Madison gets right to it. What is going on? What happened? Why did you let me go wedding dress shopping? Why am I in here, in my wedding dress doing all of this for you to tell me it's over? I didn't get to say so. I was having a rough time at the tux fitting, and I wanted this to go as long as it could, and I couldn't do it any longer. Okay, you just know when someone is your person, and you know when it's the right one, and you know when someone isn't. But tell me why? What's wrong with us? Why is it not me? Why is it not you and me together? Why? I don't have any answers. I can feel it. I don't have any answers. I don't know. I don't have any answers. This is so embarrassing. And it's interesting that it's coming up after the meet with the singles. Is there someone there? Is there? Nah, because Joe didn't really want nobody. There's nobody else there. Joe wasn't really feeling nobody at the thing. You know what he was feeling? He was feeling that liquor bottle. That's what Joe was feeling. That's who we need to be questioning if they drink too much. Joe. Not Anton, Joe. But nonetheless. So Then it turns into, so you would be okay with me being with someone else? Well, I mean, I don't know. We'll never be able to kiss again and cuddle and hold each other? No, we won't. He didn't want to do it with you now, Madison. I just kind of feel like as a woman, okay, we know if a man likes us or not. We know if a man really want to reconcile with us. And baby Madison, you could feel that Joe wasn't there with you. I know you could feel it. And what happens is on Love is Blind, these women get into these situations, and sometimes the men as well, where they know deep down that these men don't want to be with them. They know deep down that these men aren't still feeling them, that they don't want to do with them. And instead of them acknowledging it and understanding it and accepting it, they want to force these men to keep doing this. Madison, you telling that man that y'all would never kiss, cuddle, and fuck again, he doesn't care. Look at his face. Okay? So then Madison said, so if we met in the real world, would this work? uh we wouldn't have even gotten this far. Why? Girl, because you have a large physique. That's what he keeps saying. You had a large physique. He wouldn't have looked at you. I just kind of feel like, Madison, don't ask questions that you really don't want the answer to. Because what Joe is trying to save you from is him telling you he's not physically attracted to you. And he was just fucking with you because you were a warm body at the end of the night. Save yourself the pain, save yourself the hurt, have some pride in yourself, stand up, go pack, and go about your life, Madison. You are not missing out on a prize, right? So now she is over here just, you broke my heart. I can physically feel my heart breaking. I mean, we shouldn't drag this out. So you're not gonna hug me? You're not gonna even hug me? I am dying inside. Look, she is about to fall out, have a full-blown panic attack, and he gets up and he's over there just, going to get his suitcase and get to packing. Joe does a confessional and said, I'm relieved. A weight is lifted off my shoulders. He said that when he pictures a family and wedding and kids with somebody, it's just not with her. He don't picture that with her. It's hard for him to do that with her. Meanwhile, she's up inside talking about she about to throw up. So after he packs up his bag, she hugs him and she thanks him for being a part of her journey. And this was her way, her last ditch effort for him to be like, okay, let's try again. And he was like, bye. But she let Joe know that he will always have a place in her heart. And I was like, I guess. Look, Madison, I think you're going to really find you somebody, sis. I do. But I think when it comes to Madison, much like Annie, not even Annie. Annie's a separate case. But when it comes to Madison, I think that Madison knew deep down that Joe wasn't attracted to her physically. And instead of Madison kind of acknowledging that and sitting with that, she chose to try to force it. I also feel like as an engaged person, when you take off your ring and say, here, this is yours, I feel like that's a sign. Because the same way that if a man were to take off his wedding ring and be like, well, here, since you got a problem, and put the ring in front of you, that would piss me off. And I think that pissed Joe off. I'm not saying that Madison was wrong in how she handled anything like that, but I do think that there were a culmination of things that, kind of built up with Joe. And at the root of it, at the crux of it, was that man didn't find you physically attractive. That's what it came down to. I hate that Joe let it go on this long because you could have told Madison a while ago that you weren't feeling her, but you didn't. Okay? So, KB and Edmond. This shit pissed me off. I'm sorry, but KB got on my last nerve this scene. And I get it, y'all. So let's address it right now. Yes, Edmond has a childish mentality about him. Yes, Edmond likes to act aloof and all that type of stuff. But I feel like KB... We'll get there. So they're riding a snowmobile. She's driving. He's holding on the back. And They get there, they get off, and he goes to look out at the view. Beautiful view, right? Feel like some of the best views I have ever seen have been on the plane landing in Denver. Like amazing views, right? She's like, I'm gonna go get some hot chocolate. She goes in, she comes out. He's now sitting on this like little situation, and he does not help her down. So she was like, thanks for the help. Already, you starting off. I knew it was gonna be some bullshit in the scene when she said that, right? So she says that Edmond, she doesn't like how he's different on camera. So according to KB, Edmond is one way off camera. When the cameras come on, then he's a different way. KB, I feel that you are one way on camera and a different way off camera as well. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be 1000% with you, KB. I think you like to address issues with him on camera instead of y'all at least having one damn conversation where you figure out the elephant in the room privately. Because that's what it's given. Every time there's an elephant in the room, you don't have to address that shit when the cameras are up, KB. It's okay for y'all to work through an issue without you berating him on camera because that's how it comes across, baby. And I'm not even saying that Edmond is always in the right and KB, you're always in the wrong because your feelings and your issues with him, they're valid. They're valid. However, you always choosing to address it on camera when he's not in that mind state and he's not giving it back to you, you're making yourself the villain. You just are, right? So she said that in the car, he was dismissive, but when they got on the snowmobile and the cameras were out, he was all cheesy. She said, and when he does that, it breaks her down because she doesn't hide her emotions and she wants to address the issue. So it ruins basically all their activities. I feel like, KB, you're the elephant in the room, right? Let's put this into perspective. We would have never known that y'all had an issue in the car. This could have been a scene where y'all went to go and y'all went snowmobiling and then y'all sat out on the ledge and y'all drank hot chocolate and then y'all drank hot chocolate, y'all talked about life together. There was a different way to address whatever the issue was than the way that you went about this. And that's something that KB is just gonna have to learn. Right? She's a very reactionary person. And I'm not saying that because she's assertive. I saw some comments, not in my comment section, but I saw some comments on Twitter that anytime a woman is assertive and direct, they're looked at as aggressive. I don't think KB is aggressive at all. I do not think anything about KB is aggressive. I think when it comes to KB, that KB has to learn how to handle and how to bring up situations, right? I'm a person, I get called out on my tone all the time. There are people that have been in my comments and will say that based on my tone, I lack empathy and I lack rationale for different things. Somebody just left a comment in the last video that said, "Oh, my takes are pretty accurate, but I lack empathy." A lot of it is tone, right? We can't help how we speak. I can't help the cadence of my voice. I can't help how I certain words have more emphasis on it than others. That's everybody's different. And I think with KB, she's running into the issue. She's hitting the roadblock of its tone with her, right? And as the audience, when we're coming into a situation and we don't know what happened before, but we see you berating him and taking a tone with him as if you're chastising him, as if you're talking to him like he's beneath you, as if you're talking to him as if he's your child and not your fiance, it's gonna look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, y'all. Like, I'm not saying that KB is 1000% wrong, but I do believe that KB has to watch her tone. And again, I have to watch my tone as well. There's been a couple times where people have told me, "Oh, Tammy, you were mad." I'm like, "No, I wasn't. It's my tone," right? So we get to the beginning of the situation. So according to KB, they were in the car. Edmond found out that for the bachelor party it's a Western theme. He don't want to do that. And that would be like we just did a rodeo for the little meetup. I wouldn't want to do it again either. According to KB, Edmond had a bit of a tantrum. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I would need to see how he said it. Right? Because I think it's very easy because of how we have seen Edmond behave. I think it's very easy for her to say something like that and for the audience to ascertain how we think he said it, right? Apparently, KB tried to interject and be like, hey, babe, it's not that big of a deal. And instead of letting Edmond have his feelings about it, right? Because you want to have your feelings about stuff. Instead of letting him have his feelings about it, she tried to interject. He wasn't with it. He didn't want to talk to her. So he kind of ignored her. She felt that he was dismissive towards her, right? Is that dismissive? Yes, it is. So he does not think he was dismissive. And he said he's not going to apologize because he doesn't think he did anything wrong. We've talked about this before. I think it was last recap where I said you don't want to berate an apology out of somebody because they're not gonna mean it. Right? If you're apologizing to me, I want you to mean it. I want you to be like, Tammy, I'm sorry because this, that, and the other, and you 1000% mean it. I don't want you to apologize and say sorry and there's nothing behind it. And it gives that KB is a person that wants to hear sorry, that needs to hear sorry, but she kind of has to understand that sometimes people are not sorry, and you got to be okay with that. Edmond is a person that doesn't give that he likes to apologize. So either you stay with him and you accept it, or you choose to move on, right? But berating him to say sorry, what are you gaining from that? So she tells him that she loves him through the good and the bad, but she will not accept him through the bad when he dismisses her. She then said that she will get over anything, but she's only going to get over things if he is truly apologetic. If he is not, then what? Then what? What does that mean for your relationship if you feel that Edmond did something to you and you want an apology and Edmond doesn't feel like he did anything wrong and he doesn't want to apologize? What does that mean to you? How does that help you? How does that help nourish the relationship? So Edmond said, okay, I'm sorry for whatever you took wrong, but I'm in a good mood right now. I'm enjoying the view. And then you came and then she was like, yeah, but in the car. And I'm like, again, this is a prime example. Prime example of how you just got to let some shit be for the moment. And KB doesn't know how to do that. So Edmond said, look, your mood is messing up my mood right now. Hell, KB, you were messing up my mood when I was watching this. So KB said, well, you weren't in a good mood in the car and you were, and she's getting loud, right? She's not yelling, but her voice is getting more heightened. So he was like, you're yelling. She said, I get heightened when I'm frustrated. And I think that KB has to learn if you're going to be dealing with Edmond, okay? KB has to learn that sometimes if you're frustrated, take a step back. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to remove yourself from a situation. It's okay to table a discussion. She's not doing that. So KB feels like he minimizes. I can talk. He minimizes, my God, that KB feels. KB feels that Edmond minimizes her feelings. And I think KB, you minimize his as well, right? So Edmond said, look, I'm excited. We get here. I'm excited. It's my first time on the snowmobile. And he's trying to talk. And then she was like, yeah, and I can't enjoy it because you won't take accountability. And I feel like at some point, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Whatever. So Edmond then says, you want me to apologize for something I'm not sorry about. And I feel like that was it right there. He's not sorry. He doesn't think he did anything wrong. So where do y'all go from here? You're going to berate him, which you're going to ice him out until he apologizes? So Edmond is trying to talk and she cuts him off. So he said, let me finish. Let me finish. And I was with him. Let him finish. Look, KB cuts Edmond off. So Edmond, in retaliation, cuts her off and she gets upset. So he said, well, look, I'm not going to apologize. So then she would say, well, I don't want it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You want the apology. So then she would say, I've been swallowing shit. I've been swallowing shit. He said, okay, well then stop. Stop. KB said, I'm fighting for something and you aren't. I'm fighting for my life right now. And he tries to say something and he cuts her off. She said, okay, well, you keep cutting me off. He said, well, yeah, you cut me off all the time too. You cut me off all the damn time too, right? So I'm like, here we go again. So KB is like, you would have a degree in cutting people off. That would be your degree. And she tells him, stop fucking talking to me then, bitch. Completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. And I think this is what KB is Edmond in the wrong? I don't know. Because we didn't see what happened in the car. Again, we wouldn't have known that y'all had beef or that y'all had an issue if KB, you wouldn't have been able to just to sit your ass down and look out at the view and drink some hot chocolate. There is a time and a place to address the elephant in the room. KB, you are the elephant in the room, sis. You are. You are, because you bring this negative energy. You had to learn how to release. You got to learn how to take a step back because you done called this man out his name unnecessarily over some shit that you do to him as well. We see KB cut Edmond off constantly when he's talking. If he's rambling, so the fuck what? Let him get it out. But you can't be mad. You can't be mad that he cuts you off when you do the same thing. So then she's like, you bringing me out of character. No, you bringing yourself out of character, sis. You bringing yourself out of character. I don't believe in people are getting me out of character. Nobody can get you out of your body but you. Nobody. Right? So then that's the end of the scene. I said, y'all go home. Get your shit together. Sitting up here cussing and acting silly like this. Y'all done messed up the view. So Allie and Anton, Allie's mom comes over, and apparently her sister is not there to support her. We find out that her and her sister were very close when they were younger. When they became teenagers, they kind of drifted apart. So I don't know if her sister is just not cool with the process or what. We don't get a lot of backstory. Anton comes in and her mother was telling them both that divorce happens when you forget about your partner. So if you want to go out and kick it with your friends, she needs to be going too. Y'all need to do everything together. And I would say, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with if I want to go out and hang out with my friends that I can't leave my husband at home by himself. I don't. Now, I'm not married. However, I don't, you have to have alone time, right? I feel like when you get so consumed, what ends up happening and it works for some people, it works for some couples, but I have friends, right, that when they got married, they got so consumed in their husbands. So consumed in their husbands. Everything they did was with their husbands. We couldn't even be on the telephone. Her husband is sitting right here. And she stopped hanging out with everybody. If we would have girls' nights, it would be like her husband would come. He would just be like in the restaurant or at the bar or somewhere else. Like it became too much and she eventually lost herself in the process, and they're divorced now. But I also have some friends who are so intertwined in their husbands and they're always with their husbands, and I guess they're doing okay. I don't know. I can only model marriages and stuff off of what I've seen my parents do, my brother do, my cousins that are married, and it is okay to have some alone time, to have your own interests, to have your own whatever. And so the fact that her mother was saying this was interesting. reflecting. It's a little interesting, but her mother likes Anton and she's happy and she gives her blessing. So cuckoo cuckoo for them, all right? Glitter and Jordan. So they're getting custom cowboy hats made, and I think Nick's hat was too big. I didn't like it. Didn't like Nick's hat at all. Jordan. That choked me up. I didn't like Jordan's hat. So Glitter said that she went and looked at another house and it wasn't the one. Why you looking at a house by yourself? Ain't y'all both gonna be living there? So she's like, it's in a good school district, but it had a weird layout. So she starts talking about numerology. So accordingly, Glitter is into numerology. And I guess she adds up the address, and if it's a 6 house, it's like abundance, and a 7. Like she went down the scale of what she was looking for, right? She mentioned 6, 8, and 9, 7, or something like that. You can look it up and see. Numerology is a whole shebang. So Jordan was like, so you're gonna use that to find us a house? And she was like, maybe, probably. And he called it a little bit of woo-woo. He didn't really agree with it. I feel like he low-key judged her. And a lot of times whenever people do that, how you like woo-woo shit, they're judging. And it's kind of lame because let people do what they want to do. I feel like numerology and the people that are like big into astrology, to me, is not hurting anybody, right? If she want to use numerology for her house, let her. Who cares? Who cares? So Jordan said, well, they will find the right house together. And I was like, heavy on together. Glitter. So they start talking about the tuxes, and she feels the way that he is not wearing a black tux because I guess they agreed on no color. And he was like, I was thinking the same thing, but then Nick Lachey reminded me, is my wedding as much as it's yours? And he has a dark burgundy tux. She don't look excited, but deal with it. Deal with it, Glitter. Deal with it. Okay. So they start, he asks her favorite and least favorite things about him. She said her favorite is that he is a good dad, and her least favorite is that sometimes he's not as talkative and she feeds off of his energy. So when he's quieter and more low energy, then I guess it rubs off of her. Maybe she's an empath, okay? So she's like, talk about work. He don't want to talk about work with her. He said because it's boring, and she's like, no, I want to hear about it. Now, there are some people that just don't like to talk about work because they want to leave work at work. I personally am a person, because of how complex my job is, if I were to talk to people about what I do, they wouldn't understand anyways. So I typically don't talk about work. I might give a very high level what about maybe a coworker or something specific, but would I come home every day and get into the nitty-gritty about what stressed me out at work? No. No. And Jordan, what does Jordan do? Do y'all remember? I didn't go back and like relook it up. So we panned over to KB and Edmond. He brings her flowers and he apologizes for ignoring her in the car. He's been reflecting and said that he does not want to lose her. He's sorry for dismissing her emotions and wants to make up with her. And I just kind of feel like, I don't know if I believe you, Edmond. I don't know if you're saying it because you want to get married, or if you're saying it because that's what KB told you, because you said yesterday you were not sorry and you were not going to apologize. So what has changed in the span of 12 hours? Is it the prospect that she might leave your ass? You know what I mean? So KB said that there was a moment up on that mountain where she wanted to take her ring off and throw it. I said, girl, not throw it. Just chuck that shit. So she's wondering if she even has anything left to give to him. Edmond said he appreciates her and how she's changed him, and you know how she has changed him into the best man that he could ever be. So she said that, you know, with the flowers and the apology, he has given her some hope because he came in accountable on some grown man shit. He came in, got right to business, and that's what she likes. She also points out that this is a learning experience for her as well, and she apologizes for cussing at him. And I'm like, you need to say, I'm sorry for calling you a bitch. is what you need to have said. But she apologizes for the cursing, and she said that, he has also changed her for the better. Okay. She said that she going into this, she didn't have patience, and he is kind of teaching her patience. Right. So I guess I just don't understand why KB has not learned that she cannot approach issues with him the way that she has previously. The way that they talked right now, everybody's calm. They're both hearing each other out, is how their conversation should go. But KB doesn't do that. She always comes to him. Do you know why I'm upset? He's not your child. You're not explaining why he's grounded. You're not explaining why the iPad is getting taken away. And I think that's something that KB is going to have to figure out if this marriage is going to work at all. We get Allie and Anton. So they take a horse and carriage ride to a little bonfire situation. And he's telling her that he wants her to be all in. They're drinking champagne. So it's not that Allie has a problem with the drinking. She wants to control his drinking. And I've seen the comments about people that drink every day have a problem and all that type of stuff. I feel like nobody has the wrong opinion in this, right? Like I said, I am from a city, I am from a state where a lot of people drink daily and a lot of people drink heavily. I'm not saying this right or wrong. Like I said, I myself don't drink daily. I don't drink weekly. So, but if somebody does come home every day after work and get a beer or get a glass of wine, I don't think they're an alcoholic. But that's just me. Again, if Allie would just tell Anton that she does not like the amount that he drinks or the frequency, a lot of this can be put to rest, but she won't. She wants him to figure it out, and he's not inside your mind, mama. He's not inside of it, okay? So he wants her to be all in, said that they are both changing for the better. Anton is like, I don't want to give up, and said that relationships are all about putting in effort. Allie thinks that there's a fine line between compromise and sticking in something that's just not meant to be, and I 1000% agree with that. Right? I think a lot of times people compromise on things just for the sake of keeping the peace, but they're really not happy. And so Allie said a word, is it that I'm compromising so we both can be happy? Or is it that I am completely switching up what I want and putting time and effort into something that's just not worth it? Edmond and KB go rollerblading. He was like, look what I can do. He did a little river dance or some shit. I thought you was gonna do some shit. But okay, it was a cute little scene or whatever. Her rollerblades look childish, but it was a cute little scene. We get to Glitter and Jordan. She's cleaning up and Jordan is sitting there looking at his phone. So you can tell she wants to have a conversation. She wants to talk. So they start packing in complete silence, and Glitter tells him, I want you to talk more. And he's like, I don't know what to say. So he feels that she is being abrasive when she asks him to speak. So apparently, whenever she wants to talk or whenever he comes home, Jordan tells her that he is tired, and Glitter said, Effie, we all got pain, okay? I'm tired too. We all do shit at work. We're all in the same boat. This was interesting. Jordan said, yeah, but your boat is a lot bigger than my boat. And what I think by that is, and I could be wrong, I am open to being wrong, okay? I think Jordan was saying that because Allie has more money, more means, and she doesn't have a child, that her tired is not the same as his. That's what I got out of it, right? So he said there are times where he just wants to sit his ass on the couch next to her and watch a movie, and he feels like that should be okay. He's like, that should be fine. I don't know why we always got to talk, why we always got to have a conversation. Glitter said, well, I fell in love with you in the pods from your conversation and your jokes. And when Jordan said, we ain't in the pods no more, I said, oh, so you don't want to have to do the work. You don't want to have to keep trying. Jordan said that his job is super demanding and he doesn't want to come home and get beat up on as well. He wants her to be his backbone, and that's something that makes him more tired. And I get it, right? Everybody works different jobs. I get it. Jordan said, look, I talk 10 hours a day. When I get home, sometimes I want to be quiet. I talk and I present and I do webinars and I talk in presentations and I lead meetings and I do all that stuff at work. And sometimes the very last thing that I want to do when I come home is sit on YouTube and talk. And then after I do a YouTube video, then have to get on the phone and talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand what he's saying, but there is also compromise. And all she's saying is, talk sometimes. But see, Jordan is saying that he wants her to compromise and be quiet sometimes. Y'all gonna have to figure that out. Right? So Glitter starts saying how, look, I like to go to, Madison lives a certain life. She lives the life of what is she, in her 30s? 30-something-year-old woman that is single with a shit ton of disposable income. She has created the life for herself, worked her way up to a life where she can do whatever it is that she wants. So if she wants to get up and go play tennis at 10 a.m., she can. If she wants to go up to Aspen and go skiing with some friends, she can. If she wants to turn around and go to happy hour, she can, and she wants him, Jordan, to want and do those things with her. Now, Jordan said, look, my life is Legos and Luca, okay? Life changes when you have kids. Life slows down. Life slows down, but it doesn't come to a halt. It doesn't come to a halt. And I understand that Jordan is like, I don't want a nanny raising my child. I get that. I 1000% agree. Those are your kids. You raise their asses. I believe that. But I think what Glitter is saying is we can still do some things, right? And so this goes back to when Jordan and Glitter first had their reveal and they were talking and Jordan said, we need you. Yeah, we need you, referring to him and Luca. And I told y'all it's given that Jordan wants the money and the help out of Glitter. Do I think that he likes Glitter? I do. But do I think that he's willing to compromise being a homebody for her? I don't. On the reverse, though, Glitter, you had to have known that life would be different when you date a man with a kid. He's not going to be able to just jump up on a Tuesday and go do whatever with you because he might have Luca. You know what I mean? So Glitter is pointing out that she wants Jordan to court her, and Jordan is like, I don't have time to do all the stuff that you want. She's not asking you to do everything. She wants you to do something, right? So Jordan said, well, you dated all these rich men that would, that could do all that stuff with you, that wanted to do all that stuff with you, and it didn't work, and that's why you picked me. And I didn't like that. Jordan. I didn't like that because you knew what type of woman Glitter was, same as Glitter knew what type of man Jordan was, but you knew what type of woman Glitter was. So for you to tell her, well, you knew who I was, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But let me know what you guys thought. This video long AF. Oh my God. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, hype the video, hype me up, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.